Hello students, this is lecture number 3 and again I am here with a very wonderful topic of grammar, English grammar, that is pronoun. Pronoun, as you all know, you must have been using it so many times. Pronoun is the word that can be used instead of noun or at the place of noun. Now the reason behind using this pronoun is it makes our speech as well as our writing less awkward, because every time if we want to say something about any person, any name, any place, we cannot afford to repeat the same name again and again. So instead of that, there are certain words that can be utilized, and these words are nothing but pronouns. And these pronouns, they help us to make our speech, our writing less awkward. It make our speech, our writing clear, smoother, and they help us to avoid repeating the nouns that we are going to use on and off. The reason why we need to learn pronoun from the career point of view also, as I said, in MPSC and UPSC examination there is certain weightage given to English grammar also, and you never know, there might be a question about pronoun, mostly about personal pronouns and the subject verb concord, that is the agreement. They ask you many a times, they have asked such questions about subject verb concord, and most of the time pronoun functions as a subject. And if we don't know about pronoun and it's the different persons, we fail to understand the correct answer, and that may cost us. And in order to avoid it, we must know about pronoun. Besides that, in CBSE and ICSE board examination, there is one question related to error finding, and unless and until we know about pronouns and how they change the verb that comes after them, if we don't know this, we are bound to commit errors, or we may fail to understand what the error is. So if we fail to understand the error, there is zero chance of correcting it, and that's why it is necessary for all of us to understand what exactly the concept of pronoun is. The next point that I would like to talk about the types of pronoun. As you can see, have given certain examples like he, who, and this. These are examples of pronouns. So how to label them? I have given you 8 types over here. As you can see in this slide, it's personal pronoun, relative pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, indefinite pronoun, possessive pronoun, emphatic pronoun, interrogative pronoun, and reflexive pronoun. So one by one, let us see what exactly these different types are. Number 1 is personal pronoun. This is very important. As I said, majority of the time the question is asked about personal pronoun, and most of the time we fail in understanding and identifying the exact agreement between the subject and the verb. And these personal pronouns, if we can understand properly, we will be able to point out the error, or we will be in the position to use the verbs correctly. So what these personal pronouns are? Personal pronouns are those pronouns which are used in place of proper names and common names of person, place, things, ideas, and qualities. As you can see in the picture, I have jotted down, and from where I have taken this particular picture, I have given you the link. It says I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. These are personal pronouns. So out of these personal pronouns, few of them are in singular and few of them are in plural. For example, singular I, its plural is we. You, in singular as well as in plural, it remains same. He, she, it, these are singular personal pronouns, and their plural form is they. We must remember this, because if the number of this particular personal pronoun changes, it compels the verb that comes after it to change. And if we understand or fail to understand this particular change as per the number of person or as per the number of personal pronoun, we are bound to fail in identifying the errors that are there in the given sentence. So please pay attention to this. These personal pronouns, you have 3 persons. Number 1 is first person. Now who is the first person? First person is the speaker. Means for the speaker, whatever personal pronouns that we use, they are first person. Mostly if I want to talk something about me, I'll say I. So I is a personal pronoun and its person is first person. So whatever personal pronouns that we use for speakers, they are personal pronouns or first person personal pronouns. and the singular of first person is I and plural is we. Please make it a point. The second person is the listener. So if I want to say I am going to talk about personal pronoun, then you all the listeners, I would be using you personal pronoun for the listeners. So listener is the second person. You are my student, or you all are my students. So singular, plural, you is same. And third person is he, she, it. He for male, she for female, and it for inanimate as well as animals. So these are third person. Now what is mean by third person? Third person is means the topic of discussion. So about whom we discuss or talk, that is third person. The singular third persons are he, she, and it, and the plural is they. So please understand this particular person. The next is relative pronoun. See, relative pronouns are very essential to learn. It is because relative pronouns, they are very useful in forming complex sentences. Complex sentences means when we will discuss about different types of sentences, I'll give you more idea about it. But if we do not know these relative pronouns, we may fail to understand the error in the given sentence, or we may not be able to use them properly. For person, what kind of relative pronoun we need to use, and for inanimate or animal, what kind of relative pronoun we need to use, we must understand, and very cautiously when we are using it in our speech as well as in writing, we must take care of it. So first of all, let us understand what exactly relative pronoun is. It is a pronoun which refers the noun which is mentioned there in the sentence. So relative pronouns, they join two sentences. As I said, they are very useful to form or to frame clauses or the complex kind of sentence. So use of relative pronoun depends on what we are referring to. I've given you certain examples of relative pronouns like who, which, whose, that, where, when. See, these relative pronouns, they are also interrogative pronouns. So there is a problem in using them. Whenever WH question is there or WH word is there, we are bound to say that they are used for questions. But they are not only used for questions, they are also be used as relative pronouns. So we must understand where to use who. Now who is used for people, which it is used for animals, objects and ideas. Whose, in order to talk about the ownership of someone, whose, that is mostly for people. That it can be used for both animal as well as people. Where, that indicates, or wherever we want to indicate some place where. When, it talks about time. So when we are learning it, we must be able, or we must be in the position to form or frame certain sentences using all of this. Let us take the example of who. He is the student who scores maximum marks in English. See, student is the first person. Student is the person WHO, that is who is referring to. And again I said, he is a student who is scoring or who scores maximum marks. This is another type of complex sentence. As I said, relative pronouns are going to be very useful in order to frame complex sentences. In that point of view also, we must be in the position to understand them, how they are used. The second one is which. Animals, objects and ideas. Referring to these three, we can use which. There is a chair which has broken leg. See, chair, which. You cannot say there is a chair who has broken leg. If you are using who for chair which is inanimate, that is wrong usage. In any competitive examination, they may ask you certain questions that point out the error in a given sentence. So you should be in the position to identify that the chair is the inanimate thing, and that's why WHO, that is who, cannot go with it. Who relative pronoun cannot go with chair. It has to be which. So unless and until you understand and apply these relative pronouns in your speech or in your writing very cautiously, you are not going to have that habit. and once you form that habit of using them correctly, that's the end of it. So who's, that, where, when, you can frame your own sentences and you can use it. The next one is demonstrative pronoun. The title says demonstrative. Demonstrative means to point out something. So the pronouns that are used to point out something specific, these are demonstrative. This is very easy to understand. The only problem is that we should be able to understand the singular and plural form of this. As you can see in the slide, this, that, these are singular. These, those, these are plural. So again, if the things are near, we should use this and these. If the things are little far away, that and those, these two things can be utilized. There is nothing much to talk about demonstrative pronouns. They are very easy to understand. The next one is interrogative pronoun. As I said, when I was talking about relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns are also there. So interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. Whenever we want or seek information, we are bound to use some interrogative pronouns, and all the WH words can be used as interrogative pronouns. So whenever you seek information, not in the form of yes or no, but in the form of a statement or a sentence, you are going to use interrogative pronouns. But make sure, after the interrogative pronoun, most of the time, or maybe 99%, verb comes after the WH pronoun. If the verb is not coming after the interrogative pronoun, then it doesn't remain interrogative pronoun. It becomes something else. When I will discuss about adjectives, I will talk about it. As of now, you understand that after these WH words, you should use verb. For example, which is your chair? Whom did you send the message? What do you want? Who are you? So after these WH words, we are bound to use verbs. If you do not use verb, then they don't remain interrogative pronoun. So what exactly we can label them if there is no verb after WH words, we will discuss when we will talk about adjectives. The next one is indefinite pronoun. Indefinite means you don't get particular or very specific information. So whenever we are going to use such pronouns which do not give very particular or specific information in terms of amount, in terms of person, in terms of number, they are all indefinite. Indefinite means you cannot say whether there are 3 people or 4 chairs or 5 balls. No, you cannot say. If you see this particular examples like someone, somebody, when you say someone is there, you are not sure about it. It's not definite who is there. Something is there in the room, again you are not sure about it. So indefinite pronouns are the words or the pronouns that do not give very specific, particular, accurate information. These are indefinite pronouns and they are very easy to understand. The next one is possessive pronoun. Possessive pronouns, they talk about ownership. So whatever pronouns that we are going to use to indicate our possession or ownership, these are possessive pronouns. Be very, very careful when you are using them in your sentence, because there is a chance that you may end up using possessive adjectives by considering that you are using possessive pronouns. Now what is the difference between possessive pronoun and possessive adjective? I'll talk about it in the next slide. So first of all, we should be in the position to use them properly. And let me tell you, possessive pronouns are not used much by the speakers as well as the writers. Instead of possessive pronouns, we end up using possessive adjectives. By the examples itself, you will come to know what exactly the possessive pronouns are there. So about possessive pronouns, I will talk in next video. For the time being, have a look at this. His, its, theirs, hers, mine's and ours. These are the possessive pronouns. So how to use them in your particular sentence, we will talk in next video.